This morning I've recorded a version of Meet Me at the Station, just for the website actually. Meet Me at the Station is the last song on the album, a beautifully romantic song that, well, there's a video that goes with it, you'll see that I've got a little story about it. And then I had a dog walk with Henry, who some of you have seen on the website before. This is my fallback position, this is the Hunter's Lodge, so I've been writing the follow-up album to Leave Alone the Empty Spaces, which I've kind of done as a continuous thing. As soon as I finished this album, Leave Alone the Empty Spaces, I just carried on writing. Whereas in the past, it's been like I've gone, ah, well, that's done, and I'll start thinking about other things. But I haven't actually. I've just carried on writing. The album is there's a feeling of wanting to escape. It's very, very simple. It's the simplest music I've done. There's a lot of space in it, hence the title. The artwork the same. I recorded it at home, in the garage and in my living room, and I did the artwork there as well. The photographs that I took myself are there, and there's a feeling of it. The recurring themes seem to be travel and movement and identity, you know, concerns about, not concerns about, yeah, it's subconsciously a reflection, I think, of where I am. I've moved on, and things feel different, I feel different, and the world looks different, and so identity. I got a couple of posh microphones, so I did the recording at home in the lounge and in the garage, and a bit of airtight in Chorlton. Main of it in my lounge and the garage for reverb, but to turn the washing machine off. So I got two really good microphones. I bought an Apple Mac, and I had a 1/4" 2-track reel-to-reel, which I got from Affleck's Palace second hand, which was made in the 70s. German, I can't remember the name now, make. And then I borrowed a 1/2" reel-to-reel as well. And so what I did was I went through recorded the mic stereo into the tape player, so everything's gone through the tape player and out into the Apple Mac. So at no time it's kind of not on tape as such. It's gone through the actual tape, and that's squished the sound, and then it's gone to the Apple Mac. So I've got a kind of analog digital sound that is using natural ambience of the living room, and as I say, sometimes the garage, just for overdubs that I wanted more kind of reverb on. So I've used reverb wise, I've tried to use really the actual room. And then taken all my recordings into airtight studios whereas Shana McPhail, the sound engineer, and Alan Lowles, who runs the studio, that owns the studio, dealt with my what they called unorthodox recording technique, which I think a lot of the time I really did a pretty professional job, and a lot of the time I did things that would not be acceptable, but to a sound engineer, professional sound engineer. But I think by including them, I think it's helped help with the atmosphere, and also with that the whole album it is really just me. Andy Fiddler plays drums on one song. There's drums on one song, two songs. And then I messed about with old, I borrowed old drum machines, borrowed some old synths. It is a short album. There's 2 or 3 songs that I recorded in the same period of time, which I love. Days Go By is one of them, which is one of my favourite songs that I've ever written. It doesn't sit on the record, and it doesn't, no matter where I put it, it broke a spell. For me, an album should be a spell. it should cast a spell over you as you listen to it, and it has a oneness. This record has a oneness as an album. It is quite short. It is quite sparse. The songs are pretty simple. Somebody just driving by. But I never do second takes. I don't do second takes. Not when I'm recording or when I'm being interviewed. And so it's minimalist in its approach. It's minimalist in its artwork. It's minimalist in its length of time. But the spell is enduring, and I could have there's more songs I could have put on it. It doesn't cost me any more to put them on it or anything else. I'm going to put them out as an EP in January. Those extra songs that didn't make it on, not because, as I say, Days Go By is not on there. It's one of my favourite songs I've ever written, but it just broke the spell on the album, so it's not on there, and I'll release it early next year. So that's all I can say, really. I still believe in that an album should be an album. I even think about like the vinyl of like, well, which song, what ends side one. I think it's a little gem, this, and it's got real beauty to it and some passion, and it works. I know when it works, and I know when it doesn't work, and this is the one that works. So I think there's bound to be some trolls out there going, well, it's not. I mean, what do they want? More? What do they want to measure music by the yard? Which I don't. The idea of identity came up a lot. Having been making music with I Am Clute for so long, and to write not with I Am Clute in mind, and to record not with I Am Clute in mind, to go and gig without Andy and Pete and everything and to travel. I've been around Europe a couple of times, and the UK, and a feeling of strange freedom, but and loss of identity, and who is anybody anyway? It was just a sentence that kept popping into my head.
Way more of
Who is anybody is about me, and also I do feel that in the last few years, the amount of opinions that people are spouting so loudly about subjects they don't seem to be fully informed, or there's a lot of blabber going on, and it does make me think, well, who is anybody anyway? I mean, constantly all of us are encouraged to have very, very, very polarized and strong opinions about things, and if we're not, then we're made to feel as if we're somehow, we're not taking part in democracy or something. And I'm an agnostic. I don't pretend to know what the big truth is. I don't know what the big truth is, but anyway, loads of people seem to be keen on telling me very loudly what they believe the truth is, and I just keep thinking, who is anybody anyway? I reread, I think because I was feeling a bit lost and feeling a bit, whoa, I've not been out here on my own for quite a long time. I reread all Douglas Adams, Hitchhiker's Guide, Dirk Gently, all of that, and I read the Ian Colfer book, which is written. It's another installment. I think it's the 6th installment of the trilogy of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Not even written by Douglas Adams, written after Douglas's death, in the style of Douglas Adams, and it's really, really, really good. Really good job he's made of that. And I think I did that. I reread a load of books that I was keen on. I read when I was in my teens and in my 20s, just to kind of find. I think art can be great for that, and I think Douglas Adams is a great artist, and he helped me reconnect myself with my younger self a bit, and helped me go, right, yeah, okay, yeah. There are bits of you that aren't really that different. We all change, the world changes as well, but it's not. I felt it, so that's why that's my biggest influence. I think reading that as well helped me with that. Who is anybody anyway? I like instrumental stuff because it helps me lyrically. to not get, I don't know, not to get too much interference. So I've been listening to a lot of Philip Glass, and which, you know, people say, oh, I'm listening to Philip, but you know, I really like Philip Glass. So nothing, you know, I don't listen to anything contemporary, but then again, I never really have. So it's not like, you know, well, John's really not got his finger on the pulse anymore. Well, you know, I never did. I wasn't even aware the patient was alive. To do is what I like to do. I like to write. I like to record it. I like to get it out there to people to hear. I like to feel there's a connection response, and then write some more, and then record some more, and then get a reaction and feel a response. Maybe that's an insecurity or something, but that's what I like to do. I like what Ringo said. You know, I like anyone who likes me. Which makes you think, well, like Stalin? How's that? Is that okay? Stalin was a good bloke, actually, John. Loved his poetry.
Meet me at the station. I'll have a suitcase in my hand and a final demand from the